Good day, dear colleagues, dear guests, dear experts and speakers. We start our press conference, which has the name International Investments Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow Challenges, Opportunities, and the Role of Tatarstan in the Development of Economic Cooperation. I will host this conference, um, and if you have any questions, so you may raise your hand and we give the floor to you via microphone. So you give you well, you present yourself and you direct your question to the speaker. So this is an organizing task. So we have a track for interpreters. So with great pleasure, let me introduce you our press conference participants. Talia Elgizovna Minulina, head of the Tatarstan Investment and Development Agency. So, and also, please applause. So, the Minister of Investments of the State of Libya, Egaidi Ali Saidi Saad, and Daud Al Shazavi, President of AIM Global Foundation. And to start with, I would ask Talia Ilgizovna Minolina. So, what challenges do you face or you have already witnessed? So, what challenges of the existing you think are the most acute and the basic one? And have you already managed to found any solutions? Or maybe you made a kind of like prior roadmap for that? Thank, thank you very much for this question, and let me thank for all the participants. And it's a great honor to host such forum, and we host 15th forum, so it's an anniversary, and we set up a new record. So about 80 countries and 20,000 people visited this forum. So it's very early to well make some conclusions. We are reaching the middle of this forum, but about 200 different events that are held within the framework of this forum. They are dedicated to different questions. So, speaking about challenges that are critical for the infrastructure of the development of Islamic countries in Russian Federation, I would point out three main points, which are the basic one. The first one is the logistics and infrastructure of it. This is what can let us to set up a new trade connections and the further development of investment projects and other social and other questions and issues. So, and we can collect and set up a new system of our relations. The second issue, which is quite critical, it's financing infrastructure. In this case, we can talk about development of Islamic banking systems, and we set up an experiment here. Four regions are taking part in it: Tatarstan, Bashkortostan, Dagestan, and Chechen Republic. And we talking about not only implementing the system of Islamic banking, but in general the situation of international currency payments. So, and Russian entrepreneurs require quite fast and agile solutions to set up efficiency of business implemented here. And the third critical and very base parameter is the technological sovereign. So development of science, research and development. So in digital immunity that and questions of cybersecurity and development of local software. So these, well, to my mind, these are the main questions outlined here. But we cannot but submit cooperation in the area of healthcare, sports. So within these short 2 days of work in the forum, so have you already reached any agreements or you have just started it? Well, we already reached some things, so we discuss it not only on this forum but on previous those. So transport corridors, logistic corridors, and which parts of these lines are already well, what about water transport and services and the whole transport system? And are all these services ready to have? And every year we are making a step, and step by step we're reaching there. And speaking about halal, so now we start with regulation and ROS standards, ROS quality. So they're working on these halal requirements, as Russia doesn't have halal standards right now. So this is a very base question. So yesterday we discussed with colleagues from Malaysia, and they mentioned that we have a quite big sum of halal products, and they got interested in it. So they made a conclusion that it might be a great thing to buy some products from Russia into Malaysia. Well, speaking about halal products, so there are some services provided by the standards of halal. So, and tomorrow we'll have a services on healthcare services. And halal products are not limited by food, so they might be cosmetics, modest fashion as well, might be different goods. So, but speaking about food supplies, so there is, it has its own specifics. So we need certification and accreditation centers. Speaking about Malaysia, so the distance, well, and we partially well connected with logistics, and by all means logistics is the key issue here. As food supplies, they have a certain expiration date and certain frost cameras, and transportation of goods should, and all custom services and temporary warehouses should also work well, and they require certain temperature standards. So, and in the end, we all come to the price, and price is quite important, but not only price, but there should be a competitive price. So, if we produce a halal poultry, and if we export it to Malaysia and it would cost quite a lot, so no one would buy it. So there should be the question of competitiveness of these products. Or we can provide a unique commercial offer. So El Gaide Al Said Saad, so the Minister of Investments of the state of Libya. So can you say like how the investment climate in Libya changed? So what main steps have you made and have been implemented? And what do you find, what is very interesting in Tatarstan? So, on behalf of Islam, I would like to welcome you. And speaking about investment climate in Libya and what steps are made, so in the Institute of Libya, because the Ministry of Investments is a relatively new image. So, and it has been created only, set up only 50 years ago. So now in 2010, we have a new law that belongs to the Agency of Investment, and this allows investments on the territory of Libya in every industry apart from oil refining and oil construction. So, and as well, we base on this law from 2010, and from 2012 we accepted an alternative plan. We are looking for new sources to enhance the quality on the territory of service, on the territory of our country, on the services. So we relied on oil before, but now we're opening our markets for investments in different areas. So that's why we are looking for new opportunities and new partners to work on the territory of our country. For instance, in the sphere of agriculture, infrastructure, different productions, and agricultural refining. So everyone knows that Libya is a relatively big country. We have a vast territory, so about 1,700,000 square kilometers. So we have a relatively big opportunities, and the investment climate is very open in our country. So Libya is a kind of gateway to Africa, so it gives an extra opportunity for investors. So that's why we are open for investors, including Russia. So when investors come to us, we are trying to provide every support that we can, even some. So, for instance, like in areas that are of great interest for us, so we're providing all necessary cooperation here and connecting relations between Russian Federation and Libya, and especially with Tatarstan. It's our second time in Kazan on Kazan Forum, and this year we learned a lot of new things. Within the framework of this forum. So, as Talia Minulina mentioned, that we got acquainted with halal products, and some products we can supply some products. For instance, olive oil. We have only also figs, products made of figs. So, and we can exchange these halal products. So that's why we welcome every interested investors to visit us. Yeah, we had relatively difficult periods, but now we have peace on the territory of our country. So due to our security services, we control all the territory of of our country, including terrorist units. So we already got rid of, and we won terrorists here. So can you tell us, please, for investors who would agree to invest in our country, in your country, so are there any extra or good opportunities to invest there? Maybe some like co-financing. It goes without saying that we have a law number 9, and we have adapted it within the framework of this law. It's very comfortable to work for foreign investors in Libya. So within this law, we provide certain logistic services, including some donations, extra funding. So also energy supply, water supply is on us for investors. So the Ministry of Investment, when we talk about some guarantees, so for instance sovereign guarantees, so we can also talk about insurance companies that can cover all the risk for investors. We know that assets are afraid of unexpected moves, so that's why we provide the services on insuring all the investments. So if you come to Libya, you will see that we have a very comfortable environment in investment climate, and as well geographical location of our country, and even the weather conditions are very pleasant there. So Niger and Mali these countries are around us. So that's why, like, you can work in Libya, but you can supply your products to other countries. So that's why when investments come to our country, so they're searching for new opportunities. And also we have some boundaries, earth boundaries. So it would allow us to invest in the countries. So the next question to Davut Al-Shazavi, the president of AIM Global Foundation. Mr. Al-Shazavi, can you tell us, please, about challenges that are of great concerns in your country. So, are they similar to the challenges that our colleagues have already mentioned in their countries? So, what new areas you're going to develop in your country?
I would like to take this opportunity and congratulate the President of Tatarstan and Her Excellency Ms. Talia for this great event that's been growing from the first edition that I have been seeing. And really big congratulations, and really you have made it, and it's one of the most important events globally, I would say, to discuss issues related to investment and cooperation between Arabic and Islamic and CIS countries. Back to the question, I think, our AIM Global Foundation and under our big event, which is AIM Congress, we look into support our member countries into identifying their challenges and trying to basically find a way that basically we integrate and try to build partnership between different countries into basically solving their problems. As Her Excellency Talia mentioned earlier, that basically, one of the logistic problems that we try to create corridors between countries. And today, the most important problem is that we look into logistic and we look into basically the geopolitical problems between countries and how we try to basically create the corridors between countries. Imagine there is more than 190 corridors between all countries. It's not only between two countries. That will really reduce the cost. That will really improve the partnership between countries. The other thing is also we look into innovating different ways of investment, and that basically works with different nations. Today, we are looking into investment in different countries. We are trying to also promote investment in Russia and CIS countries and Arab countries. And that will not happen without creating a proper partnership between these countries. Investment, so I'm talking about 3I, integration, investment, innovation. Investment in different elements. So we have to look into different opportunities and try to basically provide the right data and provide the right information for investors. So we work under the umbrella of being a platform for investment organizations, and we work with all the investment promotion agencies, try to basically solve these problems. And this comes only through integration, innovation, and investment.
Господин Аль-Шизаеви, скажите, вы очень много...
Mr. Al-Shazavi, you told about logistic corridors that your company is helping to set up. So, and all this sophisticated geopolitical situation within the events on today's agenda, have they made more difficult all these like logistic issues, and have they risen the cost of insurance, and who helps you to solve these problems?
It's not been difficult. Actually, these challenges have created a lot of innovative way to create stronger partnership. And despite that the cost has increased all over, but there are always solutions. And we have looked into creating solution with our partners. Either they are financial institutes or basically they are a global organization who are working with different countries. Today, I think, there have been a lot of strong investment partnership, and we have seen that basically some shift of investments have been happening between different countries. These are a solution for future. And beside logistic challenges, I think there are challenges that it's in some countries, not all the countries, in terms of creating funds or creating basically currency transfer or creating basically a data information that basically every country can depend on. We work with a lot of organizations globally, either they are financial institutes or investment institute, and we become a support to governments to really solve these problems.
Господин Аль-Шизаеви, подскажите, пожалуйста.
Mr. Al-Shazavi, what outcomes are you planning to make after the end of the forum. So, what are your aim and what would you like to agree upon that so that your trip here, so that you would come back with winning?
Very much for this question. I think our outcome is very, very clear that we really need to increase the cooperation and relation in a proper way between different countries, either they are Arab and Islamic and CIS countries. Also, we would like to look into having three type of impacts on these collaborations, either they are social or environmental or economic impacts. So these are the outcomes that basically, we are looking out from this event, and I'm sure 100% that, Kazan Summit can really, come up with a lot of innovative way to cooperate and have economic and environmental and social impacts.
Огромное спасибо, господин
Thank you very much, Mr. Al-Shazavi. So the next question is to El-Gadi Ali Saidi. So as I'm an interpreter, helps me with it. So, Mr. Al-Saidi, so the same question goes to you. So what are the outcomes of the trip to Kazan, and what are you planning to take with you so that this experience would be fruitful and quite profitable for your country? Well, our participation, we participate in this forum for the second time. So it goes without saying that it's very important for us, and on the results of this forum, we will make a report on what we've discussed, and we hope that next year we will have a broader participation and we will have our own stand on Expo. And I would like to verify this information, as we think that when we set up our own stand, so we will be able to demonstrate our Libyan products, and that can be quite interesting for the visitors and investors. So as well, we got acquainted with the products on Expo, and Libya that imports a lot of products from abroad. So we think it's going to be interesting for us, and our colleagues have already discussed with some partners from Russia and other countries. So that's why I think that there would be certain agreements and deals that we can make here. So that's why we think that this visit was very fruitful, and we hope that next year our participation would be much broader, and I guess it's a great start. And to begin something new, it's very difficult, but we're moving forward and we receive a good results. Well, thank you very much. We're looking forward to seeing you next year and with new results. And well, this forum hasn't ended yet, so we still have a lot ahead. So, Talia Ilgizovna, so the last question of our press conference, I would like to remind you that we have a online broadcast, and if you'd like to ask some question, and you have some interesting question, so please raise your hands. We would give you the floor to ask this question. Talia Ilgizovna, all in all, could you estimate the role of Tatarstan in the development of economic partnership with Islamic countries of Tatarstan? So what outcomes and what agreements are you expecting so you would get a high achievement of it? Thank you very much for this interesting question. So to assess ourselves, it's quite difficult. So that's why we have people, the heads of the governments, who can assess that. But the team that attracts investment, it has a certain task, a certain aim. So to demonstrate investment potential, so we organized an enterprise tourism for 36 different plans. It's not only enterprise, as well, Republic of Tatarstan produce lorries, cars, ships, of different purposes: aviation, helicopters, planes, and we have a great potential in agriculture as well. So this is an agricultural machines, and also food processing. So, for example, grain processing, potato, milk. So we have a first place of milk processing in Russia. So we're ready to implement different projects on preparing stuff for these projects. We have a quite strong positions, and also we have 3 IT parks. So we're ready to develop technical stuff in this area. So a lot of investments come in this area. So, and it looks very promising here. And also there are different areas where we are ready to provide good conditions for investors, and to pick up a well-qualified personnel, and to give the floor, the entry to the market. And I would say that Tatarstan now is an entry point for Islamic countries on the Russian market. So, and the more such projects we implement, the better investment team would feel there. But it all starts with trade. All investment starts with trade. If we don't have any growth of the volumes, so we would have the lack of investments. So, and if we, of course, we need a logistics, financing, currency issues. So, and the well-skilled marketing research on the entry level. So a lot of issues reflect that. And what about governmental support? Well, guarantees and that we provide for investors, and the lessening of administrative barriers, and sometimes providing the lands on dotation, or some municipal and regional facilities. As well, in Russian Federation, we have different instruments on federal level, so that are provided in all regions. So we're talking about attracting investment not only in Tatarstan but in other regions. So we have Far East, the different parts of our country. So you can take a look at this region. So we have different mechanisms. So we have different promotion and stabilizing issues. So we sign this document, and even if the legislation would change, so it won't affect that. So it's a solid treaty. So, and these questions for international investors are very, very in high demand. So, and we're working on it. And also social, cultural, sports events, best improvements of infrastructure. So we're working for global population, and they are ready. They will be implemented if we have a very good economic situation, and this can be reached if we have a solid partnership and connections. Thank you very much, Talia Ilgizovna. So if you have questions, so please don't forget to present yourself. So Ramil Agmirov, Evening Kazan. So the question to Mr. Al-Shazavi. So what areas of economy are the most promising in the investment point?
Thank you very much. I think the question is very important and wide today. I think each country has different specification of investment and different attractiveness point. If we talk about UAE has a lot of attractiveness. Either it's in property, infrastructure, energy, green energy, or food security. And today, I think, if we develop a partnership between different countries, and we have a strong partnership between us and Tatarstan and Russia, and food security, and aviation, and green economy, which is basically the hydrogen projects, as well as the green energy. So these areas, I think, it's leading us to really focus on investing in talents. Today, Russia and Tatarstan specifically, they have great talents through the educational system that they have made. And especially, we have seen Neopolis University that, I had the pleasure of visiting it several times. and it graduates a lot of talents, and these talents could be, an asset not only for Russia, also for, our countries, and we are looking forward to really establish deeper relation and also extend this relation to other countries.
RBK Tatarstan, Rynkova Tatiana. The question to Mr. Al-Saidi. So, do you have in Libya any investors from Tatarstan? Maybe some companies are already started or ready to start their investments? To tell you the truth, in Libya, we've been working with companies from Russia. We had mutual programs with oil companies and with companies that worked in the area of railroad construction, and these were companies from Russia. I'm not sure were they from Tatarstan or other regions, but now we have an open environment about concerning this law on investments. And as well, we have subsidiaries from 5 to 8 years for investors, so it can help them to get all these tax issues back within this time. So that's why our country is very promising for investors, and also we have a good logistics and access to different countries. Good morning, Kirill Shlikov, evening Kazan. One question to both speakers, to Mr. Al-Shazavi and Al-Saidi. So the question is quite short. Are you ready to start up payment in rubles with Russian investors?
بكل تأكيد.
It goes without saying that Russian ruble, concerning our old historical connections with the Russian Federation, so that's why we can make payments. It's an open question, so that's why we're open for discussion. Now we are ready that the world should be multipolar, so that's why Russia is a great country. That's why we don't want to rely only on dollars in our payments. So we've seen that happens when all people rely on dollar. So that's why we see a lot of risks there. So we see what happens with our friendly partner, Russian Federation, and how Russia was switched off from SWIFT payment system. So that's why we are open to work in all currencies. So that's why we're ready, and Libya is open to all investments.
This question, it's related more to governments. I don't represent a government, so I represent a foundation, but I believe this question, each government has its own policy, so it's better to be asked to the governments.
Спасибо большое. Я вижу.
Thank you so much. So I see that there are no questions. So let's finish up our conference. I was in Kazan when I was on my second year of university when I studied in Astrakhan. It was 1995. Well, it was looked as decoration for a very unpleasant place. So, and also we provided and organized in 2012 the concert of some band, and I've seen completely different city. So, and I see that it is a very wise investment attraction and a very wise use of this investment. So Kazan has become a lovely city. So thank you very much for hospitality and for your answers and for this press conference. So let's applause to our dear speakers, and we wish you a lovely day and fruitful work. Thank you very much.